First off, I had the opportunity to see Thunderbolts, and guys, I'm telling you, that is a peak Marvel movie. I know that's kind of hard to believe since one, it's Marvel, and everything's been going on with Marvel recently, but I'm telling y'all, Thunderbolts, unexpected themes in that movie. I was not expecting Marvel to go the direction that they did, but y'all didn't care to watch this video for Thunderbolts review. Y'all are here to see me talk about the Nintendo Switch 2, which if you guys have not seen already, we've been uploading every single day regarding the Nintendo Switch, or the Switch 2, mainly Switch 2. Sometimes we're throwing some Switch 1 videos in there. But you guys have been killing the channel recently. Thank y'all for 17,000 subscribers. If y'all haven't subscribed yet, I'd greatly appreciate it. We have a big update to talk to you guys regarding physical games. We're going to be talking about games that have been confirmed to be game keycards, and then an update on some other games that are going to be fully on cartridge. So without further ado, let's jump right into the news. All right, so this one, I don't care too much about the game, but I think there's a bigger point to look into with this, and that is the fact that Tomodachi Plaza has been confirmed to not be a game keycard. Now, I don't care about this game, but I think one of the most important things to point out with this game is, one, it's getting a physical release on both the Switch and Switch 2. I think I saw, though, with the Switch 2 version in Japan, there's going to be one that has it all on cartridge, and there's going to be one that's a code in box. I saw two separate editions of the game. One looked like it was some sort of code in the box, so if you guys are buying that game in Japan, be careful. There's looks like to be two editions of the game. But the big thing to be pointing out about this is the fact that it is a Bandai Namco game coming to the Switch 2 physically on cartridge. Now, I'm not saying you guys don't care about this game, but I feel like the big point in the matter is that Bandai Namco is doing games as of right now on the cartridge, which I think is good news for the upcoming Elden Ring release. I think a lot of people have been worried that that was going to be a game key card, and the fact that now Bandai is doing physical cartridges where it's all fully on there with a game like Tomodachi Plaza gives me hope that a majority of their releases will be fully on cart. Like I said though, who knows? This seems to be a situation that is constantly evolving, and I'm guessing a game like Tomodachi Plaza probably doesn't cost too much memory on their side. So I think a game like Elden Ring is going to be the deciding factor of what we should be expecting from Bandai Namco's physical Switch 2 games. Either way, I see this as a positive that they are not doing game keycards just yet, as to be honest with you, I kind of expected Bandai to be a company that was going to do game keycards. So it's good to go ahead and say that they're not out of the ride yet. We might still be getting some nice physical, fully on cartridge games from Bandai Namco. Like I said, once we hear about the Elden Ring pre-orders, I think that's going to be the deciding factor of what we should expect from them. Now, this is probably the news that you guys are not going to be excited about. We have some confirmation on something that is going to be a game keycard, which, to be honest, I was kind of expecting this, but it seems like a lot of people online was not expecting this for whatever reason. But Star Wars Outlaws is going to be a game keycard. The pre-orders went live this morning. It is actually retailing for $59.99, which really surprises me because I'm pretty sure this game launched as a $70 game. But what's even more interesting about this release is that it's also going to come with the Season Pass for $60 also, which is a very unlike Ubisoft thing to do, because Ubisoft, they love charging for those Season Passes. They already have everything planned for a Season Pass when their games are coming out. So the fact that they're putting it included into the Switch 2 version really surprised me, and the fact that it's $60 also surprised me. But what does this mean for the future of physical games from Ubisoft? What this probably means is everything's going to be a game keycard from them. I think even their smaller projects, because I don't think a lot of people realize the games that they released on Switch 1, yes, was on cartridge, but if they ever reprinted their games, they never did it on cartridge. They did the little code in box physical copies. If you go to your local Walmart and look at the value games, you're going to see a lot of Ubisoft games be code in boxes over there. I saw Prince of Persia the other day. I've seen Mario Rabbids, both of the Mario Rabbids actually. I've seen Rayman, I've seen Assassin's Creed. All the reprinted Ubisoft games always end up being the code in boxes. So I fully expected Ubisoft to be going to the game keycard direction, and to be completely honest with you, wouldn't surprise me if they do a code in box, since that seems to be a thing that we're seeing more often still, even with the Switch 2 having this whole concept of game keycards that I thought was supposed to destroy code in boxes. But they're still going strong, and I expect Ubisoft to have all of their games be game keycards. Do not expect anything to be fully on cartridge from Ubisoft. Things could change. Obviously, there's a lot of people very much upset over game keycards right now. Developers are clearly aware, so I feel like there's a possibility something could change. That's why I'm saying this is always an evolving situation. But I don't feel like Ubisoft's going to change their stance, considering the Switch 1 history. That's one company I fully expect to stay the same regarding this matter. And I figured while we're talking about game keycards, let's go ahead and talk over the confirmed games that we know about that are going to be game keycards, and look at what this means for future developers on what their future physical releases are going to be for the system. Now let's talk about a big one that a lot of people was not expecting to be a game keycard, and has people wondering what the future of this company is going to be when it comes to physical releases, but that is Square Enix. We already know that Bravely Default is confirmed to be a game keycard, which really threw a lot of people off considering how small this game is. But if rumors are to be true, Nintendo is only giving developers two options when it comes to gigabyte cartridges, which is 8 gigabytes or 64 gigabytes. And if this rumor is true, I think it makes sense why Bravely Default is a game keycard, which hopefully as Nintendo has the system out longer, there's going to be more options for developers to do like a 16 gigabyte cartridge or a 32 gigabyte, because that was an option for Switch 1. And I feel like maybe in a year that could be something we look down the road, hopefully. We're just going to have to see, but Bravely Default is confirmed to be a game keycard, which likely means that a majority of Square Enix's titles are going to be game keycards. I think the most interesting release that's going to be coming out later this year will be Final Fantasy VII. I'm curious to see what happens with that physical release, as I know, if we are to believe rumors, Nintendo was using Final Fantasy VII Remake to promote the Switch 2's power heavily with investors and developers. So I feel like it's possible that Nintendo could help out Square Enix to make that a true physical copy where it's fully on cartridge. But obviously we don't know. I do know that there's a player's voice this week, but I doubt we're going to hear anything about that in that. But definitely one to stay tuned. Now this one's kind of confusing because Daemon X Machina is actually a cartridge over here in America, but everywhere else it is a game keycard, which is very confusing, especially considering that Marvelous has been pretty out there saying that they want to put all of their games fully on cartridge. So I don't know what this means for future releases, but it seems like here in America, anything that's going to be a Marvelous game will end up being fully on cartridge. If you're in another country, looks like it's going to be a game keycard. Hopefully this change is because it's kind of weird. I feel like this is something that will change it on Marvelous's part in a few weeks, hopefully. Hitman World of Assassination is a game keycard, which this one, gonna be honest, doesn't surprise me that it's a game keycard. I think in general, if the cartridges were not so expensive, this was always going to be a game keycard, because I think I read that the amount of storage that it's going to take to install this on your Switch 2 is like over 70 gigs. So this, as of right now, is going to be the biggest storage game on Switch 2. So I think this was always going to be this way, and it's because it's 3 games into one. So it's unfortunate, I guess. Video Games Plus has talked about how they wanted to, hopefully in the future, reprint games to be fully on cartridge. And maybe this is one that it can somehow do some magic. We've seen them do wonders with Switch 1 releases, making physical copies to where it's got all the updates on there have happened from them. Kind of crazy, but I feel like this one's going to be the one that will probably always be a game keycard, unfortunately. And it's also coming from a developer that I think is an indie dev, or not necessarily indie dev, but not a full-on video game publishing company from like everyone else, if that makes sense. So they're probably putting this release out themselves. So unfortunately, I think this is going to be what remains. As of right now, EA's games seem to all be on game keycards or a code in the box. We've seen this with, weirdly enough, Split Fiction appears to be a code in box, and we have seen through the physical box art of Madden 26 that that's going to be a game key card. So I don't expect to see EA do anything on cartridge, which makes sense since it's EA. They always do messed up things trying to save money and make the most money possible. Capcom, as of right now, has all of their games as a game key card, like Street Fighter 6, for example. This one doesn't surprise me because if you look at the Switch 1 games that Capcom has put out, a majority of their games are not on cartridge. They'll do, like, a lot of their collections, for example, have one of the games and then you have to download the rest. Titles like Monster Hunter Rise obviously is on cartridge, but a majority of what Capcom brought to the Switch was collections, remasters, stuff like that. And the physical copies didn't come here to America, or sometimes did, like Ace Attorney, for example. The first 3 of those games was exclusive to Japan for some reason, but then somehow here in America we got the Apollo Justice games and then the Miles Edgeworth games. Doesn't really surprise me if you look at the weird choices Capcom has done with their physical releases on Switch 1. All of Sega games has been game key cards as of right now. Games like Sonic Generations, Radu. I think one that actually kind of surprises me is the Puyo Puyo Tetris game, because that's only taken 4 gigabytes off the Switch 2. But I guess these cartridges could be a lot more expensive than we realize, especially if the rumors of 8 gigabytes to 64 gigabytes. But it seems like Sega is probably having all of their releases being a game key card. Considering that Puyo Puyo Tetris is a game key card, I feel like indicates that we're not going to be seeing anything regarding full-on cartridges for them, unless within the next year Nintendo gives developers more options. This one kind of surprised me. Wild Hearts S is actually a game key card. I thought that Koei Tecmo and Nintendo would have had a great relationship, to maybe they could have helped make that physical release be fully on cartridge. It's not been an unknown thing for Nintendo to help third-party developers to put their game fully on cartridge, because I remember CD Projekt Red talking about with The Witcher 3 that Nintendo helped them compress the files to be on that cartridge. And I expect probably Nintendo helped out with Cyberpunk in terms of the cartridge. So kind of would have thought Koei Tecmo would have gotten that help from Nintendo, considering that Koei Tecmo has developed so many things for Nintendo, especially with the brand new Hyrule Warriors coming out later this year. But as of right now, it's a game key card, and I expect with future Koei Tecmo releases, it might be the same thing, other than like the ones that are Nintendo crossovers like Hyrule Warriors. And then this one honestly doesn't surprise me, because a lot of the times the releases they did for Switch 1, they didn't even do, but that is Konami. Konami has their Survival Kids coming out, and that is going to be a download, or not a download key card. Well, I mean, it is a download key card. It's going to be a game key card, which it just doesn't surprise me. If you look with the Switch 1, a lot of Konami's releases, sometimes they did the physical release to where it was on cartridge, like the Bomberman games, for example, but things like Metal Gear, they did not have fully on cartridge. Everything else they went to limited run for to have the physical release happen, like Castlevania and so many other games. So this one does not surprise me. I mean, even Suikoden 1 and 2, the HD remaster, the Switch 2 edition, is going to be a game key card. I think that, I mean, I guess no, it doesn't surprise me, since this is kind of why I believe this rumor once again. If you look at Konami, they released Suikoden 1 and 2 fully on cartridge for Switch 1. Doesn't make sense that the Switch 2 edition is a game key card. That's why I kind of believe this 8 gigabyte and 64 gigabyte rumor. Guys, that's everything I have for you. I want to know what you're thinking. I know game key cards has been a very controversial topic in my comments. I've seen y'all go to war about it. When someone's talking about, hey, I'm excited to purchase that game, and then people are like, hey, that's a game key card. Don't be supporting these game key cards. I know this is a controversial topic, but I thought it would be a good video to talk about the companies that we are aware of as of right now, of their upcoming releases and what this means for future releases. Could things change? I don't know. I think this will be an interesting conversation to have in about a year from now, as the Switch 2 gets out for a year. Maybe Nintendo will have more options for developers to have bigger cartridges, less money. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see these next few months, how things transpire. especially with the whole Tarif situation. I think that definitely plays a factor into why some games are game key cards, but like I said, I don't know. That's a little bit out of my expertise, but I definitely want to hear what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. Guys, I've been talking for way too much. Make sure to backslash that subscribe button, like the video, check out the Twitter, check out the Instagram, check out the Discord server. Instagram, I think I already said that. P.O. Box, Monado Marine membership, $5 a month. Helps out the channel tremendously, especially as we go to New York City at the end of the month. Guys, are y'all ready for those vlogs where we're going to be at the Switch 2 line, vlogging every day, uploading every day? It's going to be a blast. I leave May 27th. I'll be doing a post about it, but May 27th. Fun times await. I'll see you guys in the next video.